and I once or twice were asked to enunciate clearly.
And we are
on Stow TV. Okay, we are ready to go. Great. Good evening. This is the Stow Selectboard meeting of May 24th, 2022. We want to welcome our new returning board member, Ingeborg Hegeman-Clark, newly elected. Welcome back. Thank you. After your break. And a particular welcome back, immediately back to Courtney, who was reelected for another term. So glad to have you. Our first order of business before anything else is reorganizing the board. I am chairing because I am been honored to serve as chair, and I'm not interested in continuing. I like it. I think it's important that we rotate it. So I thought we would start by saying who's interested, and then if we have more than one person, speak a bit to why you want to be chair. So
I'll start. I'm not interested.
that's two.
Do you want to go? You want me to go?
Go ahead.
I am interested in chairing.
And Courtney?
I am willing.
Okay, well then, Megan, why don't you start? Just
Sure.
tell us what.
So I wrote a couple of things down because I am not great off the cuff, but I wanted to sort of lay out what I have seen over, this is the last year of my term, over as the responsibilities of the chair. So I think that the chair sets the agenda in consultation with the town administrator, ensuring that the business of the town is done in a timely manner, along with policy updates and consultation with the board. They're the signatory for paperwork when the entire body can't meet. The most important thing is the chair is responsible for running an effective and an efficient meeting, allowing for input from all board members. Obviously, we all know that open meeting law means that our meetings are the times to discuss the business of the town in an open and transparent manner. And why me? I'm highly organized. I am a Virgo in horoscope, so I'm very organized. I manage a small business. I have a staff of 13. I make sure the operations run smoothly. I do payroll. I wear 1,000 hats. I've chaired the Lower Village Revitalization Subcommittee. I can be available during the work week to meet with the TA as needed. And it, as I alluded to earlier, it's my third year on the board. I feel like I've sat and I've watched and I've learned, and I just would like the shot to be the chair. That's all I got.
Thank you.
So I'm didn't prepare any notes. I think that you described the duties of the chair well. I see it as, just that. It's just a service to keep our meetings organized and running smoothly. And my goal in being in meetings is that we are cordial and deliberate and kind both to each other and any applicants or any visitors, as whether they're present in person or on Zoom, because I believe that we are the body that sets the tone. We're the only group that's televised in our meetings, and we set the tone for how conversations are held publicly in the town. And I haven't chaired a committee or a board in a while. I've had experience on both the Community Preservation Committee and the Conservation Commission. I will probably listen more than I speak, except when there are things to say, and when I have strong opinions, I will speak up. And I'm happy to run meetings. So.
Thanks. I was trying to find a way to make it less awkward than last year. It felt very awkward last year. So I would say, does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to nominate Megan as chair, and the reason I say that is because it is your last term. And although you have a lot of good experience, I think that you have another 3 years to become chair. And I will never want to be chair. Compete with me in the future. So that's my motion.
I will second. Any other discussion?
No.
All right. All in favor?
You can't vote for yourself, can you vote for yourself?
Yes.
In this, in this certain thing, I won't
It's
vote for myself.
unanimous.
It's unanimous. So
Thanks, guys.
congratulations, Megan.
Congratulations.
Excellent.
Would you like to take over the meeting now?
I can if you would like me to.
Let's see if you.
See if I know, right? This is my audition,
We
so
can
really
have a
if
motion
I-
at the end of the meeting
to remove me.
No action.
All right, well, welcome. The next thing on the agenda is any public input. And the public input is for things that are not going to be discussed on the agenda, already. So is there anything that anyone would like to say or talk about or?
You have a hand raised.
Okay, where's the hand?
You have Alex.
Okay, hi, Alex, what can we do for you?
Hello, I'm Alex Stryker from 24 Osselwood Way. Just want to thank everybody, all of my supporters and all of you that are in the room today. I believe the election went swimmingly and amazing, and I just would like to ask you all to reconsider expediting the seat for Zach Burns. I believe that in his farewell address, he spoke eloquently about not having one voice be louder than any other. And I believe in order to have that accomplished, we would need 5 seats filled so that the 5th seat has a voice. I don't think that it's in, I will say that I don't believe it's in my best interest to have it expedited. I believe, give me the summer and I will listen to the critical feedback of getting more involved. So this is not self-serving. I just believe that it's in the best interest of the town to have 5 members expedited onto the board. So that is my statement.
Thank you.
All, and
Thank
see you later.
So, I will say that, I can speak to that because I was on the board, and why we made that decision. And, in order to, an election costs a lot of money, no?
Should be speaking back to public comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not saying anything. Do any board members want to say anything? Oh, Denise, this is gonna be a learning curve. She's ready to kill me already. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
Chair, I do have a question.
Yes,
So I'm not sure
yep,
what Alex is talking about.
sure, okay, so,
Sorry, Alex, I don't know.
I think what I would ask, I think then, is if we put this on a future agenda to talk about, because I
It
think
might
that
be
that makes sense.
Denise's report about
Okay,
the
fine,
upcoming election.
Okay,
thank you.
It's
All right.
regarding when we set the date for the upcoming election.
Okay,
Perfect.
that's fine, yes.
Great.
And the date is not set yet,
Correct, that's right.
So nothing has been decided,
No,
right?
great. Okay, thanks, Alex.
Correct.
No problem, thank you.
Yeah, okay. Did any board members want to say anything?
About just general public input?
Yeah, just,
I do, but it looks like,
well, I was just, one of the things I usually,
Yes.
we're supposed to do with, when we're still on, virtual meetings.
Yep.
Is to remind people that we're being recorded
got it.
and that, the board,
Okay.
you won't we theoretically would have to do a roll call on every vote unless
Unless we're all
we
in the
state
room.
that it's
Okay.
unanimous.
Okay,
No, even if you're all in the room, you have to do it unless you're,
Unless it's
unless
unanimous.
it's unanimous.
and then you have to
Okay.
declare it unanimous.
Fantastic, thank you.
Just to be clear. So that's, yeah. That's all I have. Yeah, no.
What can I?
Yeah,
okay, so I would like to say to the public that this is, while I was invisibly campaigning, I did speak to a number of different people. And a lot of people had a lot of interesting ideas. And I just want to say to everyone that this is the forum. Bring them up to us at this time. This public input period has always been on, as long as I'm aware.
Mhm.
And there were a lot of different topics that came up, so I guess I'm supposed to look at that thing, right? I'm looking, so anyway, and you can also write to us, we review our correspondence all the time. So
Mhm.
don't forget that I've heard criticism of the board, I've heard great things about the board, I've heard frustrations, I've heard kudos, so please bring them. We're not invisible, and personally, I would like to make sure that we can respond to as many issues as possible. And that's it for me.
I would like to just briefly say that.
Can you guys speak a little louder?
Mhm.
Speak a little louder, thank you.
I'm good, yeah, I'm gonna move over there.
So I'd just like to briefly thank all the voters that turned out, because we had a high turnout, it felt like. And I'd like to thank the other candidates because I think it was just exciting to run in a contested election. I thought it got the town talking, and that was a good thing. So thank you,
Yes.
everyone.
And I'll take a point of personal privilege and thank Ellen for chairing for the past year. I know that it is obviously it is not going to be very easy, so I appreciate it. Okay, so do we have recognitions tonight?
Can we go
We
back?
renew- Sorry.
We forgot to elect a clerk.
We sure did.
I was supposed to do that.
We sure
So,
did.
oops. But I'll let you, Madam Chair, take over the election of the.
Sure. Do we have anyone who'd like to step forward as clerk?
I'll be clerk.
Okay.
Unless you really, do you wanna do
No, I
it again?
don't know. Thank you.
Do you
Okay.
need a nomination, Madam Chair?
I would love a nomination. Thank you.
I'll nominate Ellen Sturgis as clerk.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. Can we move on to recognition? Do we have any? No, I don't think we do tonight. All right. Shall we move on to annual June 1st appointments?
Can we go to my report before you jump over me?
Where is town administrator's report?
Six.
No, I'm on
Okay,
6.
That happens to me. Oh, she's right. It
It's
says
6,
appointment.
it's under discussion.
Okay.
We don't have any appointments, they'd be listed there.
Oh, so, all right,
those
so
are separate
I was just reading in the list. That's my bad.
I've done that.
Sorry.
I've skipped her.
Denise, could you please give us your report?
I would love to, thank you, Madam Chair. So this week, our COVID case is up to 42 in town with a positivity rate of 8.16. There is speculation from the state that we will start to see those numbers decrease. We are getting some reports that the wastewater testing is showing that the numbers are declining. So we're on the lookout for that, and hopefully that will be the case. I would like to congratulate Officer Brandon Murphy for graduating the police academy last week. If you'll recall, we appointed him many months ago, pending his successful completion from the academy. So he graduated and has started as an officer, although now is on a little hiatus since he had a baby this past week. So
Man.
we wish him luck all around. I wanted to give a huge shout out, an extremely huge shout out to Kathy Sfera, who on Saturday completed her 50th half marathon, one in every state in the country. She wrapped up her run in North Dakota, and it is just an amazing feat that she did that. I would like to thank the voters for turning up at town meeting and the election, and for supporting the library project. At the next meeting, I will be asking this board to disband the existing building committee and create a new committee to carry the process through design and construction. The initial building committee was for conceptual design and was made up of representatives from this board, finance, capital planning. Those folks aren't needed anymore. The financing, all of that work is done. Now we need to focus on members of the community who want to have a say on the design of the building, maybe some engineers, maybe some folks with a construction background, to get a more well-rounded committee to take us through the next part of that process. From May 23rd to June 2nd, the Gleasondale Bridge contractor will be working extended hours at the project site. For the next couple of weeks, work will begin at 7 a.m. and end at 7 p.m. with the exception of this Friday, May 27th. They will not be working late on that night. This will allow the contractor to expedite the concrete pours on the northern abutment to progress the project towards its next milestone. They had some delays with the beams, and they had to do a little bit of design changes, so it took a little bit longer. The traffic impacts are expected to be minimal, and the contractor does not anticipate any significant increase in sound, dust, or vibration. At the previous meeting, when we discussed the special election, we decided it would be on your next agenda, the first full agenda after the board reorganized, and to comment on the opening statements. If you'll recall, it was, I think, 60 days that the town clerk said we needed to call a special election. So that pretty much brings us to September anyways. So keep that in mind. I think we will still be targeting the September primary. The schools will be closing on that day, so we will be able to hold the primary on the Tuesday after Labor Day, and it will be at Center School. Just an FYI, since next week is one of those extra weeks with no agenda and no meeting, I am taking the week off.
Great.
So I will not be around, but available as always. And lastly, on a very sad note, I wanted to let the board and everybody know that our town planner, Jesse, is leaving us this summer. Jesse is stepping away from municipal government completely to focus on his Christmas tree business. So we do have a couple more months with him, but he will leave an extremely large void. He has been a tremendous asset to the community and the town and does so much work. So we will be starting that process in the very near future to replace him. So.
I have a question. When you bring, when we were disbanding the library building committee and proposing a new one, will you give us a proposal of sort of the makeup of that?
Yes.
So we'll be voting on that next meeting as well in terms of that, voting on that.
Yes, that would be my request.
Sounds good. Excellent. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, great. Can we go to annual June 1st appointments? And I will stop reading the agenda that way. Okay. So, it looks like do you want to do them all? How do we want to do the appointments? Because
We have separate
can we just make motions on them? Like, you
Unless
don't need
there's
to
any-
tell us about the annual appointments, right? We can just make these three
Well,
motions.
if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them, but they're reappointments.
Yeah, I don't, does
There's
anyone
nobody
have,
new coming on, we're not appointing
Okay.
anyone new.
any board members have any questions?
I'm
No.
happy to make motions if somebody
Great.
wants to second.
You want a second? Because you haven't been able to for a whole year?
I can second, I'm so excited. Yeah.
All right, I'll take a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to reappoint Fire Chief John Paul Benoit to the position of Forest Warden for a one-year term ending May 31st, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Madam Chair, I move to reappoint Francis Ramsbottom to the position of Building Commissioner for a one-year term ending May 31st, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that's unanimous.
And furthermore, I move to reappoint the following inspectors for one-year terms ending May 31st, 2023. Local Inspector Douglas Hyde, Electrical Inspector Robert W. Norton, Deputy Electrical Inspector Dennis Ontario, Deputy Electrical Inspector Michael A. Norton, Gas Inspector Adam Sahlberg, Deputy Gas Inspector Robert Smith, Plumbing Inspector Adam Sahlberg, Deputy Plumbing Inspector Robert Smith.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And that's unanimous. All right. Are we having a presentation from the library?
Tina is on,
Okay,
so, but I don't know that there's a presentation.
okay. Or just, Tina, hi.
I think I've done enough presentations.
Yeah, I was like, are you done?
No.
Is there anything, do you wanna give us a quick overview of what the summer reading program looks like?
Absolutely,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
So we wanted this, since we haven't had one actually in 3 years since I've been here, so we wanted to kind of make it a community event and hold it at Town Center Park. So we reserved the space for June 18th from 4 to 6:30. So that we can have just people come and gather. We're going to have crafts. Chris hired a sea shanty that will be singing. So just kind of like a general little get together, but instead of holding it inside, hopefully the weather will cooperate and we can have it outside. And it's just to promote our kickoff for summer reading.
That's excellent.
Always fun.
Yes. It's always been a really fun event, so I'm
That's what I've heard,
I'm excited to have it back.
Yeah.
Do any board members have any questions?
Do you have a contingency plan for poor weather?
It'll be in the library. So we will still have the sea shanty. Everything will just be inside and a little bit cramped, but that's that's our backup plan.
Okay.
Well, you know, sometimes when you're cramped, it's a cozy, people feel like it's really a party. There's a lot of people in it.
I hope so.
Hopefully it'll be outdoors instead.
Yes.
Okay,
Do you guys have any questions?
No.
No?
all good.
Then I will take a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to approve a permit for the Randall Library Summer Reading Event to be held at Town Center Park on Saturday, June 18th, 2022, from 4:30 until 6 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And that is unanimous.
And congratulations again, Dina.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
So
Thank you all for the
exciting.
help.
Very exciting. Yeah.
Do we
All right.
have, because I don't see everybody who's here, do we have people from SpringFest
So
on?
Jackie's on,
Okay.
Sherry's on.
Sherry's on, okay. Okay, are you, hi Sherry,
Hi,
How are you?
congratulations, Megan.
thanks. We'll see how badly I mess it up. No. So, do you, I know that Maura was running a little bit late, do you want to give us kind of an overview of what you guys have been working on? You know, what you're looking for from us, kind of stuff like that.
Well, we've been busy little bees for sure. So far what we have going, we have 3 bounce houses. We have 2 tents where one tent will have a small stage for 4 bands to perform.
Cool.
The other tent will be strictly just tables and chairs for eating. We have a dunk tank for teachers outside, an archery game. We have 3 items that will be primarily for raising funds for the Stow Food Pantry. Those 3 items are, we're selling prepackaged ice cream, the teacher dunk tank, and a blow-up archery set, which is completely safe for all. No flying darts, no one's gonna get hurt. And all those proceeds, we'll be selling tickets only for those 3 items, and all the proceeds go to the Stow Food Pantry. So we have that, we have the bounce houses, we have the bands. We are presently, we will have touch a truck from the highway department, police department, and fire department. In addition to the outside, we'll have concessions where it's free popcorn, free snow cones, free cotton candy. There will be food trucks there. We are still working on that. We are keeping our fingers crossed that those temporary permits come through. That is our main concern right now, as I think it's just a really busy weekend, and it was super challenging even to get food trucks for that weekend, and we're just hoping that we get those temporary permits. That's our one major concern right now. Inside the building, we will have vendors. Vendors will be outside as well. But inside the building, there'll be additional vendors, and we will have On Your Toes performing. This group, I think, played at the town hall. It's a group of drummers and dancers. I don't know if any of you saw them.
Yeah.
Mr. Vic, and that is it for the inside. I might be missing. Oh, there's baby farm animals are going to be there as well. So, you know, it's coming along. We've got great sponsors that are helping us with some items. In addition to that, we have a lot of volunteers. The event could not run without volunteers. We have a strong support on that end as well. And we're looking for more vendors. We're getting the word out on that.
Excellent.
I'll just add that the dunk tank in the past included select board members, just saying.
Oh, well, there's always room for that.
I'm volunteering at every already.
I sadly will be away that weekend. You can just get, maybe different, people in town might be willing to.
Yeah.
It's for a good cause for the food pantry.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Why limit to
Absolutely.
teachers?
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like we've got the traffic safety plan.
Yep.
Denise, do you wanna talk to things that are outstanding that we need to know about before we approve
So-
the permit? Like what are we what are we looking at?
Yep, so the main outstanding item that Sherry touched upon is the permits for the food trucks. The 4 food trucks that they are utilizing have not been permitted in the Neshoba area. So of the 16 communities that they serve, they have not been permitted prior. So they have to go through the full permitting process. All food trucks are required to have a permit to serve in the town that they are serving food in, regardless of if it's a town event or anything.
Got it.
So there is a time period to go through that process. It doesn't happen here, it's through the Neshoba Associated Boards of Health. So that is outstanding. I know they are working and they have reached out. I think today, Mara, I think, was reaching out to Neshoba to try and figure out where we were in the process with that. The building inspector will be out Friday to inspect the tents, but we don't envision any issues with that. All other departments have signed off, again, pending the Board of Health permits.
Okay.
And that's just on the food trucks.
Yeah. But it does sound like you'll have the Lions Club providing, like, so there will be some food there, should there not be?
Yeah, the Lions Club we do have, however, they right from the start had said that they cannot be the only person, they
Got
cannot
it.
handle the
Got it,
volume.
got it,
So we know we can't
got it.
just have them. So
Okay,
we are willing to help in any way to try to push this through. If there's any additional things that we can do on our end to help with Bridget, please let us know. We'll help in whatever she needs us to do, for sure.
Yeah, I think the difficult part was the food trucks have to physically come here to be inspected or be at Neshoba
Right.
offices to be
Got it.
inspected. And since
Yeah.
they're not local food trucks, I think that's been some of the difficulty is coordinating that.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
But there are food trucks that are permitted by Neshoba.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
there's 10 or 12 food trucks that they have issued a permit
Okay.
for, and it's an
Okay.
annual permit.
Yeah.
So it's not a temporary permit. Once
Yeah.
they're permitted for the year, they
Yeah.
can be utilized in any of the Neshoba communities without coming back for another permit.
So Sherry, that's something that you might wanna, when you reach out to Neshoba, if you're still heading a roadblock, like, ask for their list of approved food trucks, and maybe those are ones that you could, I mean, I know we're up against the gun at this point, and you all
Yeah.
have been doing so much,
And we can send that, we have the
Yeah.
list, so we
Yeah.
can certainly send that out. You
Yeah,
can have
and I believe that we got the list, and from my understanding, it wasn't something I personally, it wasn't part of my job responsibility, but from what I understand on that end, it was nearly impossible to even get the trucks that we had. There's a lot going on that weekend. So I think the problem that we ran into, is like, we can't even get an ice cream truck, we have an
Got
ice
it.
cream truck every year. They're all booked.
Yeah.
So that's a real issue, and I think that's probably what Bridget's up against as well, is that everyone's pushing. I mean,
right.
everybody's getting a food truck for whatever
Right,
reason
right.
they get. Everybody wants food trucks. And I think she is probably overwhelmed.
Right.
She has some approvals to do,
Right,
and we just had to go outside the box to find people.
okay,
So that was kind of our issue with that, unfortunately.
I will say, I mean, they do know it's a town-sponsored event, so I know they will act as best they can to make sure the permits are
Thank you,
given out,
I
but-
appreciate that.
Yep.
Awesome.
cool. Do we have any other questions about SpringFest? No? Then I will take a motion.
Delighted that it's happening again.
I am so excited, and I will be serving popcorn most of the day, so come see me.
Megan, I have a spot for you in the dunk tank. Come on, girl.
Might be like this weekend and you like it.
Yeah, well, I'll catch up with you later, Sherry, we'll chat about that. All right,
If
let's
it's 90
take,
degrees, I might
I
volunteer.
know, seriously.
Yeah.
I move to approve a permit for the Stow SpringFest to be held at Center School on Saturday, June 4th, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., pending receipt of all the remaining Board of Health permits and inspection by the building commissioner.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous, congratulations, we'll see
Thank
on the
you,
board.
thank you so much, ladies, I really appreciate all your hard work.
Good luck with the other permits.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so next is, is Laura on?
To
Or
be honest, I
anybody for
didn't
this?
ask, we do this every year,
Oh, well,
so
then
I
that's
wasn't,
Does anyone have any questions about boat rentals?
Just on the motion, it says to waive the $5 fee, it's sort of hanging out there, I wasn't sure what that refers to.
So the LBC, or the board had a fee for the commercial use permit. So we're just
Oh.
waiving the fee because it's for a town.
We charge $5 for
Oh,
that.
okay.
I thought it was something to do with the rental of the boats and I was just confused.
Well, that's fair, because that was
Okay.
confusing.
So we just, well,
I will take a motion.
On the recommendation of the Lake Boone Commission, I move to grant a commercial use permit to the Stow Recreation Department for its boating program for Camp Stow and the town beach for the 2022 season, valid through December 31st, 2022, and to waive the $5 fee.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Okay. As I did not put this agenda together, annual town meeting debrief is on here. Do you, what did, thank everyone for coming to town meeting that came. I'm not sure.
We
I'm gonna
just
let
thought
you.
it would be, you know, a good time since it's still fresh in minds,
Yep.
relatively speaking, to see if there was, you know, thoughts, how it went, you know, it's a
Mhm.
slightly different layout, the
Mhm.
outdoor piece, the clickers.
Mhm.
So, I think it was just, it seemed like a good chance just to discuss. And, I mean, my particular thing is around the outdoor piece and just, you know, it's just, it was so lovely when we, even though in spite of COVID, when we got to have the big tent and it felt much more, like, I don't know, not that I ever minded being in the auditorium and just doing it that way. So I just thought it would be, you know, is it something we wanna consider post-pandemic, you know? And if so, obviously, we'd have to spend more money on it to make
Right,
it work.
right.
So I'm not saying the tent necessarily, but, and I know
Right.
there was tons of problems with center, so hail will never work as smoothly in terms of space outdoors. But
Right.
anyway, I just
Right.
wanted to raise that, that's
Right.
my one sort of question for others to, what their thoughts were on it. Okay. And then.
Yeah, I was disappointed that the electronic voting devices wouldn't transmit well from outdoors. So I don't know if there would be a way to have a better receiver for those, because I think my perception was that at a certain point, the moderator dispensed with all of the electronic votes that he could because they were taking longer. And so, you know, every electronic vote that was a half a minute longer than otherwise was lengthening the meeting. And so if there was an additional repeater or something that would so I really like the idea that people can be outside, and you know, we've had people ask for a more celebratory feel for a town meeting and a way that it's accessible for people in different ways, and I really liked that too, especially on a fine day.
I did understand that we had hoped to have like a booster of some sort, right, that didn't come.
Yes, Denise.
So we found out Thursday night that we needed some additional equipment.
Got it.
The issue was when we had town meeting at Center School, because there was such a large distance between the main area and outdoors, we had to use separate repeaters and program the devices separately, which means when someone came inside, there were checkers there to hand off devices because it wouldn't work inside with the outside
Right,
devices
right.
and vice versa. We decided that that was not feasible to continue to do that method, and we would use one receiver with two antennas to reach Hale School. Thursday night, the rep came down and said, well, in order to do that, you need boosters and you need additional equipment. To which on Friday, I drove to Needham to UDO Electronics, and they did not carry the one booster that we needed. They carry everything else under the sun but the one booster. So Friday night, myself, Linda, and Ron tried every aspect of that building and where we could put the antenna to reach outdoors, which Friday night worked in the coned off area. I will say that come Saturday morning, with the number of people that were both inside and outside, it was just too much interference for the antenna because it was now not a clear shot outside.
Got it.
So we have since procured the boosters that would accommodate using the clickers outdoors at Hale School. with
Right.
one, so that the same clickers can be used with the same receiver and we don't have to worry about in and out and
Yeah.
people can roam around and walk all around.
Yeah.
So that has hopefully been resolved
Okay.
for the future.
Excellent,
Thank you,
thank you.
nice. You're so quick. It's just,
Um,
and
I
that's
will
not a fun
say,
drive too.
Yeah.
you do have folks with a hand up. I don't know if you're gonna stay with the board for the moment, but you do have some hands raised.
I'm gonna stay with the board for the moment, just to let everybody have their time in the room, but yep.
My other sort of question, and it sort of came up with, it comes and goes, and I actually, this Saturday morning versus Monday nights.
Mhm.
And, we've gone back and forth, and I think because of COVID, we've gone to Saturday mornings.
Right.
It doesn't seem to have changed either way, the turnout.
I agree with you.
I actually like it because then you just get it done, even though it, that was
The
what-
Saturday one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 2-night thing is so disruptive, just, and plus people, it's always that debate, do you keep going until 11 o'clock at night or whatever,
Yes.
but, so anyway.
Think it'll work?
No, I was outdoors.
Yep.
And if you got the clicker going right away, you got your vote, otherwise you had to wait and wait and wait.
Got it.
Interesting.
And did it bother you that you couldn't see anything that you just heard?
It was, I had the thing on my phone, that
Yeah.
was, but then not everybody had that, so.
Am I correct in, I believe I saw like forms that were like people could fill out at the end of town
Yep.
meeting? Okay, so at some point, who has those?
Those don't go to us, that's the town clerk and
That's
the
the town
moderator.
clerk, okay. Great, that's good to know. So they will have all of that information. I can,
Well, just before you go,
Yeah.
are you going to the public?
I was, so yes, anything.
Just so, some of the things that we all heard, I'm
Yep,
sure,
yep.
was how young families can participate.
Mhm.
And I just don't know the facts behind that,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that's something that can be explored, and,
Sure.
what are the liabilities, what are the opportunities, all that kind of stuff, so.
Oh,
But that's all, so we can,
Yep.
I know there's no answer right away.
yeah,
so-
no, absolutely. Did you wanna say?
No, it's just on that, I'm not gonna go down that topic.
That's fine, that's fine. I will say that, town meeting, so the town meetings that I went to prior to COVID, and then the town meetings after COVID and later, I do feel like COVID has changed a lot of people's relationship to town government. I think before it was sort of, okay, whatever, the town's doing its thing. And now I feel like with Zoom and being able to sort of log on or watch old meetings or whatever, for different boards, that people are feeling like they are more empowered to be part of the process. And I would like to see how we can get more people to come to town meeting and pass these things that are our tax, like, it's our tax dollars. We should all be able to be there. And so trying to figure out an equitable way to make that happen, obviously, within the parameters of a business meeting, which is what the town meeting is. So I look forward to creative solutions to that, because I feel like they're out there, and I'm hopeful that we can move towards some of that. How many people do I have?
So you have Kate and then you have Abby.
Okay, so I can see you left to right. So Kate, I'm gonna go with you first.
Yeah, she was the first.
Oh, great. Hi.
Hey guys, so my name's Kate West, 8 High Street in Stow. I'm one of the people who was working at the town meeting and was specifically working with the clickers themselves, as well as did some of the preliminary testing the night before. One of the things that's worth knowing that I was able to kind of play with a little bit during town meeting, I spent quite a bit of time outside and was trying to kind of troubleshoot some of the failure modes of the clickers.
Mhm.
And one of the issues was definitely, as Denise was pointing out, we had 75 people, give or take, outside, all trying to kind of jam a signal that had a very narrow channel. But we also noticed that because the people outside were outside and it was a gorgeous day, a lot of them were wandering pretty far. And we had no rule that they couldn't. It absolutely is their right to do. If they left the range with their clicker and went outside where the clicker could transmit, The clicker then has to re-register to the base unit when it comes back. So people were standing fairly farther than we had tested them,
Okay.
and then trying to get to the door before the vote closed to get their vote in, standing in a line because everyone's trying to stand in the same doorway. But meanwhile, their clickers are still trying to re-register, and with the jam traffic, it was also more of a problem. So one of the things for future town meetings, I think we could probably educate the users a little bit more about staying in range, or again, getting more extenders to try and make sure that we're not beating ourselves up on the system by having people going in and out of range if they want to vote.
That's great. Thank you, Kate.
Welcome.
Any questions about that?
No, good to know.
No, I have another question.
Sure.
Yeah, louder,
Yell into
Courtney,
the
be too quiet.
Owl.
Go. So, just noticing that, you know, even though our electronic clickers are fabulous and very convenient in a lot of ways, that we managed to have, felt to me like, you know, more than a third of the votes with our little paper tags, as we've done for many, many years. And just wondering if other people perceived that that also still works, and you know, I mean, I think the hybrid at the discretion of the moderator is great. Just, you know, sort of checking if there were any thoughts that it wasn't working outside or anything like that.
Paper counts. Yeah.
Right.
No, absolutely, no,
Yeah,
you're
fine.
absolutely right.
They were fine outside.
Yeah. I think the one thing I like about the clickers is that you get an accurate vote count. Cause it's just by the numbers. With paper, people aren't like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just like, okay, there's a sea of green that passes. And so I think it is nice to hear sort of the bigger ticket items, or the ones that are like, that you really just kind of wanna know how supported it was. But I honestly could take it one way or another. Yeah.
Okay, is that clickers are anonymous?
There is that, there is absolutely that too. Yep.
I was just gonna, I mean, I actually love the use that David got to it at the end, the moderator, you know, where there were a bunch of things, he pretty much knew they were gonna be quick, unanimous, and just using the green cards. Cause it's easy to call the unanimous, near unanimous.
Yeah.
Nobody needed this, but, you know,
Yeah.
it's less than 10 people or whatever.
Yeah.
That definitely sped things up. We would have, you know, given the, I think even if the clickers were there, you know, were working.
Yeah.
You know, there are times when it's just that much faster, so.
Yeah.
Did you have your hand?
No, I was gonna call on Abby.
Yeah.
Hi, Abby.
Hi. Congrats to everyone on the new folks on the board. Congrats, Megan. Thanks for calling on me and all that.
Oh wait, can you identify yourself? Sorry, can you identify yourself?
Sorry. I'm Abby Morgan, 20 Railroad Ave.
Thank you.
And I had a couple things. One, I wanted to thank you, Ingeborg, for mentioning the anonymity of the clickers. I know that's something I've heard, that some folks didn't want to go to town meeting because they would have to show, they'd have to put their hands up. But I also like what you were saying, Ellen, about one of the things COVID has taught us is that hybrid approaches often are the best solution. And with a moderator who is maybe versed in something, understanding that kind of process, it could be a very effective and quick way of using both the clickers and the cards. I also, I really appreciate hearing the challenges that you went through, Denise, to try to get all of that set up. I recognize that I was one of the people who was trying to push from being at center, and I know that there was a lot of complications with that, and I appreciate how much work you put into all of these events, so please know that that's not forgotten and it is recognized. And that being said, I would be happy to, I have a lot of ideas, as I'm sure you know, and there's a group of us who have ideas, and we'd be happy to talk more about it, about ways that we can make town meeting more equitable. We wrote up this whole plan, which at this point I don't think is appropriate anymore now that we have SpringFest, but it could have some other good ideas in there, like having an intermission. I grew up in Vermont, and I was just talking to my mom, and she said at their town meeting every year, you always stop at noon, and we had a potluck lunch. Of course, as a town of 700 people, not 7,000, but you know, so there was a stopping point. There was a known stopping point for a lunch break, which was a great community building opportunity. And then you knew you were going back. So it was like a whole day event. That being said, we also had a state holiday for town meeting day. So I understand that there's a trade-off there, and we have to work within certain things, but I really appreciate you bringing this to the agenda and talking more about it. And again, happy to help if I can be helpful, or I can just, you know, be quiet and let you do your jobs otherwise. So thank you.
Thank you, Abby.
So I just want to comment on two things. Abby, I think you, myself, and our new moderator are set to meet in June to talk about some of these.
Yes, yeah, I wanted to make sure he had already talked to you before
Yes.
I mentioned it.
Yes. And then the second thing, I will just remind you that the moderator asked folks if they wanted to take a break at this past town meeting, and there was an overwhelming no from the crowd, so.
Yeah, that came from outside, and I was outside, and that was because the next vote was the library. All of the parents who were there were waiting for the library to leave, so they were like, no, we want to stay. So I think had the request to take a break been just 2 items later, you know, would have been taken up, but otherwise I completely understand the sort of mixed messaging there.
Yes, so we will meet and see and talk about some of these things.
Okay.
You know, there are many more issues with Center that I'll be happy to talk to you about, Abby. It's not that just we prefer Hale over Center, it's a logistic issue all around, quite frankly. So, but we'll talk about this, and I'm happy to report back to the board after the fact. And I don't think we'll come to any resolution that day, but we'll have a nice conversation about where we go in the future.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
again, thank you, Abby, for just putting thoughts down on paper. That was actually, it's always helpful to see those. I will say two things. One is that when I first, I don't know how long ago, when SpringFest was scheduled to be roughly 2 weeks after town meeting, one of the explicit goals was to have like games where people who had competed in the election, say, could then play together. Like you could have a duke it out volleyball game or whatever. And it was the idea, it was the time to sort of bring the town back together. So, you know, your idea, even though, yes, we've got a few more people than your folks up in Northeast Kingdom, you know, it is a nice thought. And I would totally love the idea if we continued on Saturdays to doing like you know, something after the meeting, whether it's just having a few ice cream trucks or whatever, you know, because I think it is a rare moment where we get a lot of people together, some that, especially over the last 2 years, some people I hadn't seen for 2 years, so, you know, and then you don't really get to visit much, so it is a nice, I think, to do something around that would be really nice, so, but that's all.
That's great. Thank you. Courtney.
So I wanted to circle back quickly. So there were 2 things that I wanted to mention. One was that I thought it was really great, the range of people that spoke at town meeting, and just generally, you know, I thought, you know, we heard, I mean, I guess we often hear from people that haven't spoken at town meeting before. Before I got involved in volunteering, I used to go to town meeting, and a couple of times I got pretty, you know, I just felt strongly and I got up and said something, and my heart was beating to just jump out of my throat. I mean, I just didn't know if I was even going to be able to speak at all. And I just, over the years, found that it's such a wonderful event to participate in. And I got to, even, you know, that tension and that fear that I felt, I got to really love the experience of being there with people disagreeing and saying, no, I just don't think we should, you know, change the traffic safety, or yes, we've got to have affordable, you know, whatever, all of the things that we discussed there. And in a way, I feel as though being vulnerable and speaking our minds and speaking about what we feel strongly about is it's also connected to voting and voting without anonymity. And so I know for when it's a new experience, I know, how afraid I was to speak out in favor of something that I knew people were opposed to. And at the same time, I think the opportunity is for us to get closer as a community by being in a safe space where we can disagree, and it is a business meeting, there are rules, and we can have a conversation about our differences and also our things that we agree. And yeah, I think ice cream trucks or a volleyball game or something at the end is perfect, because sometimes you need a hug or something after kind of sticking your neck out. So just wanted to throw that out there because I just think it's a really important part of all of this. Thank you.
Abby, did you want to
May I
respond?
comment?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just agree with you there, Courtney. I think one of the things that has become such a challenge, at least, speaking as myself as a, parent of a young kid, being able to access those types of opportunities of that community and really being able to put your energy into something that you really feel strongly about, and getting used to having that kind of, like all the rules, and recognizing when you can speak, when you can't speak, and how to do it in a way. It takes time and energy, and absolutely people need to take that on themselves. They need to recognize that they have to engage in that. And I think there are ways that, like, we as a town can make it easier for folks to have that experience, and easier for folks to engage and be able to speak up. And I think that's what I really hope to be able to talk to Denise about and Jim about.
That sounds great.
So I really, again, I look forward to that, because I completely agree that it's a really important part of being a resident here.
Yeah.
And a privilege to have town meetings, and so many other states don't do that.
Thank you, Abby.
Yeah, that's great.
All right. Anything else for this item?
No, I think that's, the other part of that, when you're talking about the different people who speak, it's like the other thing would be nice of social time is like, if you hung out afterwards and you can actually go talk to the person you've never met before to say,
Right.
loved what you said, or,
Mhm.
there was definitely some of that this past meeting where people were like impressed with some people's getting up to taking the chance of speaking, and, so, yeah. Okay.
No, it's perfect. I think the next thing is the meeting minutes, unless anybody has anything else. And I once again applaud. Because these are
Joyce?
these are phenomenal. And I think she consolidated a very long meeting into, actually, maybe it wasn't that long, but anyway, she did a great job. So, can I have a motion?
I move to accept the meeting minutes of the May 14th, 2022 meeting as drafted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that's 3, let's do a roll call vote because,
Yes.
so Ingeborg's abstaining.
But you didn't ask if she was abstaining.
Oh, are you abstaining? Sorry.
Did you guess?
I know, it is.
No, I oppose, I'm abstaining.
You're abstaining, okay. Can I say the vote count then? Or do I have to call a roll call? Roll call.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Fresha.
Aye.
Ms. Sturgis.
Aye.
Mr. Birch McMichael is aye. Ms. Hageman Clark.
Very good. Abstaining, please.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, is there any correspondence we would like to dive into?
I just wanted, so I had forwarded an email I'd gotten from our Green Advisory representative, asking about a follow-up. And I just wanted to confirm, we have looked, and I will confirm with Carol again, but I believe we never got an actual proposal that was discussed, that was not on the agenda back in March when we met with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had said we couldn't discuss it, it wasn't on the agenda, but we're still double checking, but pretty sure we don't have it, so I will go back to Carol and
Okay.
ask her to send it again, and you can discuss it for a future meeting.
Yeah, that would be great, because I think if my mind serves me, there wasn't anything there for us to talk
Yeah,
about, so we just need
I think it
more
was a
information.
verbal
It was a verbal
presentation.
presentation and
Right.
I need a paper trail.
Right.
Excellent. Well, did you wanna say anything about correspondence? Do you wanna talk about Xfinity and Comcast raising rates?
No,
No?
no, it's just part of life.
Yeah. And Ingeborg? Nope. Okay, fantastic. Well, then can I have a motion?
I move to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Congratulations all. We made it. It's unanimous. We're now getting